Hello guys, this is Vell Baria and welcome to my video blog. I would like to share something that has been running in my mind for almost 1 year, going 2 years, and that is getting my driver permit. So it's a big, big step for me, especially I'm already 28 years old, turning 29 next year. I was in the middle of confusion and bewilderment about steps to get into driver permit, getting into driver's license after that. So it was in 2021 when my mother-in-law was in bedridden. She was bedridden when she got back in December 2021, which was weeks before New Year's Eve. She was on a wheelchair when she go out or somewhere. She is on the recovery stage. When I get back from my friend's house in North Charleston, she come and talk to me saying something. Once you get your working permit, it's on the card, it's a card type, and we work on your permit. And fast forward, this is a big step for me that I would have to do something to get into planning on studying driving techniques, driving habits, everything driving related. While myself, who is a race fan, who loves to watch races on the weekends, during my waiting period, I would even have to devote my time on watching NASCAR stuff, even doing some singing stuff on my downtime. And this year, 2021, was actually the year that I'm on my waiting period to get a working permit. And I always believe that you need to always take a step at a time. You can't just go 2 steps, 3 steps at a time. No 3 steps at a time. You can't just rush yourself out there. You need to take a step at a time because you will have to go through the process. You need to go through the procedures. And with me getting into driver permit wasn't the easiest thing for me, especially as an immigrant that is having a lot of confusions when it comes to stuff like insurances, taxes, whatever. This driving thing is a top priority because I don't want to have the moment of fearing of having a FOMO on this, in this case, fear of missing out, because I've been missing out for so many years and it's over. I've been missing a lot of stuff for so long and I don't want that happen this time. So I think this is the right timing and I'm slowly getting back into it. And yeah, but prior to that moment, I was so devoted into learning how to drive in my home country, the Philippines. But again, it is my dad who told me, just do it here in the US now that I'm here. Like, learn how to drive. So me and David would go to many places that we love to do, and he can train watch outside his home and outside our home rather, and outside the usual places that we've train watched. And also to avoid distracting someone's time or disturbing someone else's agenda, especially even though my in-laws are approachable, they still have agenda for themselves. They need to have time for themselves and not to go after us because I knew better. I knew better. My husband knew better. David, yeah, David knew better. He's on his permit, getting closer to his driver license eligibility, and with him getting that, I honestly felt threatened. But that doesn't mean I'll be threatened and not to do anything. Of course, you got to do something about it. So I convert that emotion, that type of feeling, into, getting into that situation to work my heart and soul to that goal. I am someone who is ambitious and had a lot of goals in life, but I have to do something about it, of course, right? So I really invested my time bit by bit on getting into the booklet, and at the same time watching some of the videos on how to drive, and watching the videos out of about the DMV questions, and practicing, tests, doing practice tests on the DMV, on their DMV app, and online. So at first it was really confusing, and especially when I got the taste of doing the driver's permit test, which I want to talk about it later on. So when I did some of the prep, this is a lot of time. This will take a lot of time. This will take a lot of investment of your time and your energy, because you will have to get your judgments, get your logical aspects there, and you got to know how to analyze the situation, especially on the bad side of driving. Some of the, for example, aggressive drivers coming behind you. What would you do, for example? And also when your brakes are out of control, when the gas pedal doesn't work the way it should be. So that's a lot of things that every juvenile, aka the novice like me, a novice like me, should learn and remember. And of course, I was so excited, and my husband's pushing me. Of course, he's a very supportive one, and I had to go there. Now this is the best part. And I get to the DMV. What was Thursdays ago? I was in the excitement mode of doing the test. So I already passed my eye exam, and before that happened, the reception, the examiner asking me, do you have your glasses? I don't have corrective lens, but I do wear reading glasses, but I don't wear glasses. My husband does. I don't wear glasses. So I told her I was just tired because we traveled from a long, an hour and 25. So I do it again. I had to say it out loud, the numbers from the bottom. They will ask you, the examiner will ask you, of course, the bottom part. You have to read it out loud because that is the smallest that you can read. So I have one number mistake and I have to repeat that. And I didn't know that I passed without a corrective lens. So hours after, I will have to practice exam again, practice exam while I was on my waiting. While I'm waiting, I'm about to eat my hot dogs. But after that, I never know that my number was called. So I decided to, to approach one of the people in charge there in the DMV office, saying, "Hey, my number wasn't called." They said yes, my number was called, but I wasn't paying attention. So I had to ask one of the person in charge, and they came in, like, they caught my attention, and they make me do the permit test. So the permit test, you have to pass at least 24. You cannot have 23 correct answers. You need to get 24 and up. No, no, no more than 4 mistakes. So you need to get like at least 2 mistakes. 2 mistakes to better. But not everybody can have 1 mistake. Not everybody can have 29 over 30 correct answers, right? So just at least reasonably 26 is enough for you to get in the driver permit eligibility. So they said driver permit is 180 days, that equivalent to 6 months from the day that you get your permit. That will start your 6 month, not 6 months, 180 day, 180-day beginner permit, because that is your time to practice your driving and your skills test, because skills tests are pretty hypercritically strict. They're super strict on the skills test because everybody on that stage failed. You don't want that. So when I enter the testing room, it is a computer. It's not written. So I saw like a telephone, telephone. It's like a speaker. It's not a telephone that you can call your friends. It's a telephone for those who cannot read. They will speak it to you, the questions and the answers. So I decided to do both sides, reading and listening, like I'm calling on the phone. So there's a mouse and in the keyboard that you can use on your test, and it was a lot of questions. I mean, the question starts from easy to difficult. So I will cover that up, do a breakdown later on my experience that on that one. So if you have, if you don't feel reading that on your own, you can have the audio with you. The DMV that I've been going is the one that has, you know, a testing center, the testing room that has a telephone. It has a telephone bar that you can use to listen to the questions and the multiple choices. It is a multiple choice type, and what I've realized is you will have to use your logic aspects, your logical analysis, and your judgment. You will have to treat this as a real life situation. Some of the questions are more of the driving habit, the good driving habit that you need to do, and real life situations like a bicycle signs for you, or someone is on a electric assistive device like electric scooter and e-bikes. In most cases, they do mopeds. Like, what if the moped driver is giving you the signal to stop? They use their left hand to signal. That's another real life situation. And I ended up having 18 over 30 correct answers, and it was not enough. You know, I did the analytical thinking, and what I realized is you don't need to speed it up. No need to rush yourself in the test. You can't. You don't need to do that. Take your time. There's no limited time. This is on your own pace, because this is the freedom that you can use your logic analysis of to out of those multiple choices. You can do that a logical analysis while you're reading the questions in your written test for your driver permit. And I realized that I could have done taking time some more. When I have 18 over 30 the first time, I was about to cry, but I told my husband, hey, I got 18 over 30. So he said, oh, not everybody who takes the test first time are having an 18 over 30. So he told me straight, you'll need more time. You need to work on with those. So what I remember that I have a mistake on the blind spot, and also mistake on the first, the lane, 4 lanes, of the right of way. I don't know. But weeks later, I I was just disappointed in myself to the point I felt I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. But when me and my husband talked about it last night, he said he can tell that I'm crying. And yes, I really cried when I was taking the practice test on this iPad right here, while David is on his way home. I was really crying. I was wondering why? Why I'm not ready for it? Why? What did I do? I got 18 over 30, but I guess my preparation wasn't enough. So I should have taken more time. And last night, my husband told me if I didn't feel doing the test today, he said I have to make more time in preparing by reading the manual and doing the practice test and practicing my logic analysis. And It was really disappointing for me because this is my promise to my aunt, to my to my family, predominantly my dad, who is so forward to for me to get this, driving license. And those aforementioned, I never knew that they saw the potential in me in being independent, though you can't you can't have, you know, a missing skill. So driving, even though there are commutable transits, you will have to be prepared at all times because what if transits are not available? What if transits are not in operation on holidays? You will have your backup plan. So now speaking of my husband, he got his permit renewed months ago before his birthday. I feel a little threatened because my husband have the upper ground. I want that upper ground that he had. So I was threatened and felt intimidated. I was jealous also at my husband, but the jealousy should not be consuming big time, right? So I ended up, you know, yesterday after work, after the TikTok productivity that I did, I decided to go on and proceed with the driving exam preparations right away. And I sulking in. This morning, me and my husband talked about it, and he said, I wasn't ready today. I wasn't ready, so I need to have more time and devote my time to learn how to drive, to read the driver manual and go on with the questions and put keywords and highlight the keywords that I can remember from a specific chapter. And I wanted to start again, honestly, but I don't know where to start. So another thing that inspired me was one of my favorite one of my favorites, the favorite guys that I look up to recently because he's into cars, besides he's being into gaming, and I felt that I still have more to do. I'm better than what I am known for. I'm better than what I am, what the credit is given, the credit is given. So I have to do more better. A Filipina girl like me wants to step up in the game if we need, if necessary, especially if it's unexpectedly done. As a Filipina, we're not quitters at all. We're not gonna quit. We're not giving up. We want to try until we succeed. We're gonna try and try again until we get the goal. So, as someone like me, I wanted to be this well-rounded Filipina who's autistic, who's well-rounded before the pandemic. I wanted to get back in that situation. And I talked to my husband about how he communicated with my aunt and bringing up this driving thing. And my aunt and I talked about it as well in 2021 because I really ranted and vented out to her about doing Uber. This Uber is expensive. Yes. And she agreed with it because she experienced those herself. You can do Uber if your car is in the mechanics, if it's in repair, because your car is not gonna run forever anyway. It's still a machine. You need to get it fixed for preventative reasons. So still, even though me and my husband do Ubers every time to time, I do Uber some in some certain moments. That doesn't mean it's gonna be like that forever. So we're just gonna use it as an emergency per se, because there's also a feature that you can use a rental car until a certain amount of days. So when me and my husband talked about me getting into driver permit test preparation, especially next week is gonna be the week of inspection at my workplace. I wanted to devote my time some more into prepping into driver permit test, even if it will hurt my gut, even if it will hurt my brain. So yeah, I just wish I want to be situated some more with this part before I became too excited with future opportunities. And yeah, this is actually one of my goals that I wish to do if I get the opportunity. and that is getting into driver permit. And after 180 days or so, I want to be prepared on the skills test, aka the road test and skills test for a driver license eligibility. And I didn't know that my husband is so happy that I'm not going to give up on this either. So, wish me the best. If not, wish me luck. Wish me safety as well. Because I'm honestly not ready for it. So help me God. Help me God. I I have to get through this. Yeah. See, this has been Vell Baria, and I apologize to take this for so long. And yeah, and hope y'all have a great day and rock and roll.